Hey guys, it's Holly, and today we'll be taking a look at the 2022 LEGO Harry Potter BrickHead set, which is actually a 4-pack, which is called the Professors of Hogwarts. Now this is set 40560 and currently still isn't available in the US. It only just released in Australia and then released on June 1st in Europe, so it's sort of been a little bit of a mess, but honestly I didn't expect to be getting any more Harry Potter BrickHeads, so this set to me was honestly a complete surprise. Now, unfortunately, because it is a 4-pack, I feel like it's a lot less appealing just to pick up one random BrickHeads, as this set will set you back $40 US or 70 Australian, which feels a little bit steep, but then when you divide it by the amount of BrickHeads there are in here, it sort of does check out. Now, I'm not the biggest BrickHeads fan. I think they're really cute and they're pretty cool to at least just have some version of a character. So I'm actually pretty excited to build these up and show you guys, so let's go and take a look at them. Here are all 4 of the Professor BrickHeads, and overall I'm actually kind of surprised at the selection that we got. I really thought that we were going to get, all of the house heads, being Snape, McGonagall, Professor Sprout, and of course Professor Flitwick, but instead we've actually got Mad-Eye Moody and Trelawney, and the only reason I think this might be the case is because currently these are all of the professors that are present in the Hogwarts Moments books. Otherwise, I don't know why they would choose, especially Moody, I feel like. I mean, Trelawney just has a really interesting design in general, but I feel like there are other professors at Hogwarts that probably would have had, similarly interesting designs that aren't Professor Moody. But let's take a look at them one by one, starting off with Professor Snape. Now, Snape to me was a given to be made in BrickHeadz form, as plain as his design is. He is definitely, unfortunately, the least interesting out of this entire bunch. There's really not that much special about him. I mean, his dress robe design in general is pretty simple, and I think that's just, an aspect of his character that doesn't really lend himself well into BrickHead form, or even minifigure form for that matter, considering, there's no, robe printing on these side panels. You have all that's special about him really is this printed centered tile in order to give him, some buttons on his vest. Besides that, the rest of him is incredibly basic. His hair is long, it is black. He's got a slight slope at the back in order to, represent that his sort of robes are flowing in that really dramatic way that he walks around the halls. But besides that, there's really nothing special. His hair design is nothing super unique. I mean, there's just a bunch of curved pieces, a couple of slopes in there, to represent its sort of ruggedy texture at the bottom. He also comes with a little purple potions flask as well as his black one, but overall Snape is definitely the most underwhelming, but I'm also not surprised that he's in this set given that, it's Professor Snape. McGonagall, on the other hand, is by far my absolute favorite. I love McGonagall's minifigure design and I also love her BrickHeadz design. There is one complaint that I have about this though, and that is that she's in bright green, or just regular green instead of dark and that sort of emerald green that I feel like would have been far more accurate for her in BrickHeadz form. But at the end of the day, I pretty much put that down to the fact that I'm pretty sure majority of these pieces do not exist in that dark green as basic as they are. Just like Snape, there's nothing really that interesting though about her outfit, although she does get a little bit more detailing at the front, having some printed 1x4 panels, as well as one of the good old Lord of the Rings rings in order to sort of decorate her dress a bit. But the rest of that is pretty simple, which honestly is quite disappointing. I would have loved to have seen maybe some more printed panels at the back. I feel like LEGO was getting very restrictive in terms of how many printed and special pieces each BrickHead has, whereas these days you would sort of only get 1 or 2, whereas before you'd get maybe 3 or 4 if you were lucky. But overall, the reason that I absolutely love McGonagall all comes down to her hat design. I love the way that it works, sort of all folding over using a bunch of different slope pieces, as well as sort of having these golden accessories sticking off her hat, which is something we haven't gotten, in minifigure form, but you are allowed to do a little bit easier in BrickHead form. Just like the minifigure too, McGonagall comes along with her dark grey hair, which looks spectacular, and overall as well, her hat is done really well. If you lift it up, all of this is still done in dark bluish grey, so that the entire thing blends together really neatly if you are to accidentally, hit the hat up. She also comes along with a dark tan wand and a golden cup, but definitely she is my favorite out of this bunch. Next up, we have Mad-Eye Moody, and to me, he is definitely the biggest shock out of this set. I mean, I just didn't expect to ever get a Mad-Eye Moody BrickHead, but overall, I think he works pretty well. His overall BrickHead design reminds me a lot more, of the recent minifigure Moody from the Hogwarts Moments set, rather than the one from, the CMF, which personally, I think is a bit more accurate. To me, this printed tile is really underwhelming. I just feel like there's not a lot of detail, and there's not, a lot of shading either. I would have loved to have seen some dark brown on there, there in order to give this Brickhead a little more depth. Like overall, this entire design just feels very basic to me, and it almost feels like it was sort of put together a bit too quickly compared to, I guess, a lot of the other Brickheads that we see from a variety of different themes. Like when I look at this Brickhead and put it next to something like Ahsoka Tano, like this one feels like it was just, I guess, a lot more simple and basic, and maybe didn't take as long as something like Ahsoka, just with the overall design, because just like all the other ones, like there's really not a lot going on with the rest of his outfit. Then again, it is a trench coat, so I sort of don't expect anything on the back, but this printed piece especially, I would have loved to have seen a bit more. The specialized eyepiece for him is spectacular, and I love the way that his head is built up too. Like this entire band section is sort of using like snot methods, and then this entire forehead section again is using a bunch of snot methods, which is why his forehead sort of doesn't completely line up, I guess, sort of like when you look at it from the side. But overall, there was a lot of really interesting build techniques used in his head, which I love seeing when it comes to Brickheads, because usually the rest of it is like pretty much the same all the time. But overall, I mean, Moody is all right. I just feel like he had so much potential to be better. And last but not least is an absolutely adorable Brickhead, and that is Professor Trelawney. And similarly to Mad Eye Moody, I just feel like this entire print is very underwhelming. I feel like there could have been just a little bit more detail when it came to, I guess, the pattern of her dress. However, I love like all of the necklace prints on it. I think that's fantastic, and it blends in really nicely. I love Trelawney's build overall. Her glasses are so cute, sort of using these like half rings rather than those, I guess, life preserver type of pieces, which look really neat, especially sort of having that brick in the center there to make it look like proper glasses. Her hair as well is really big and really giant. I love the use of the headband, using a bunch of these different great pieces, as well as a variety of different curves and colors, and overall, I think it works really well. The back of her hair as well is full of a ton of different slopes, and really, I guess, gives off that sort of curly texture, which I'm actually quite surprised about, given that, you know, this is a Brickhead. There's a ton of these like corner slopes, there's a couple of plates here and there, a lot of different curved and sloped pieces, and overall feels really, really well done. I think the hair is definitely the best part of her, but just like every other Brickhead, like I feel like, especially with the detailing in her dress, like some printed sleeves or like a printed brick at the back would have gone such a long way in order to make this Brickhead, I guess, feel a little bit more cared for, a little bit more, I guess, more attention to detail. One thing that I do love though is that they gave her the teacup to reference the Prisoner of Azkaban, and just like everyone else, she does have a wand alongside her. But overall, the best thing about Trelawney, I guess, is just, I guess, the build techniques that were used, as well as the color scheme. Like it feels very lively, but just like Mad Eye Moody, it feels like a couple of corners were cut here, and overall, I think she could have been better, even if it was just, I guess, selling her on her own. I feel like that could have benefited Trelawney here. But those are the Professor of Hogwarts Brickheads. Like I said, overall, they just feel like they're missing quite a bit of detail. I wonder if that would change if they were each, I guess, an individual Brickhead on their own. I feel like I would probably be a bit more excited if they were, but the fact that this is a 4-pack and you sort of have to get all 4 at once, and them being, I guess, as limited, I guess, in printing and detail as they are, having only like 1 to 2 printed elements per Brickhead, it feels a little stingy when I look back at previous Brickhead designs, things like Belle, for example, where she had like multiple, I guess, like dress pieces and prints on her torso. Even, I guess, like some of the Comic-Con ones having like multiple prints and things like that. I guess if like Trelawney and Mad Eye Moody had a bit more detailing on the graphic design of their print, I'd be alright. But just considering how minimal they are, like everyone's besides McGonagall's feels like really, really basic. Snape's, I understand, like his is a pretty basic outfit, but I feel like Trelawney and Mad Eye Moody, like the detail is there. I would have loved to have seen it brought out in the Brickheads figures a bit more, especially again for a 4-pack like this that it's costing the price that it is. If you're a really big fan of Brickheads and especially Harry Potter, I feel like this is a pretty big no-brainer. Like these are really cute Brickheads. However, if you're not really a big Brickheads collector, I would just pass on this set. If it was just one professor on their own for like $10, I'd say, you know what, go for it, because I feel like it's a lot easier just to pick up one, I guess, at the checkout as sort of like a last minute thing, than like go out and purposefully buy a 4-pack of Brickheads. That being said, I'm actually just shocked that we even have more Harry Potter Brickheads in general. I mean, personally, I would pass on this set. However, I do think that overall, especially combined with the other Harry Potter Brickheads, they would look really cute. But let me know your thoughts on all of these guys down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel down below, and be sure to check out all of my other LEGO Harry Potter 2022 reviews. And until next time guys, I'll see you later.